Shon, hi, this is Jim Delapone here. I want to give you some video feedback on your character here. I'm actually surprised. This actually looks really good. It's kind of hard to make this character work. So I got a few tips here for you. So let me just bring up my layers panel, F7, and I see that you have all of your layer masks done, which is great. So what we want to do is I'm going to click on the bottom layer and slide up to the top and shift click there to select all the layers, which will allow me to move everything at the same time. So we want to center this more. So I'll bring him more in the center. We can actually also scale him if we want to, but it's fine. But if you wanted to do that with all these layers active, just hit Control T. So hit OK. And then hit Control 0 because the bounding box is outside the viewing area. So Control 0. And then if I go to any corner, click and start dragging in. And as I'm dragging, hold down the Shift key to constrain it and the Alt key to scale into the center point. So something like that would be suitable. All right. So I'm letting go of the Shift and the Alt first, and then my cursor. Then I'm going to hit Enter to apply that transformation. All right. It's going to take a second. There you go. All right. So I'm going to also now place a layer underneath, so I have a background here. So I'm selecting the bottom layer. I'm going to click on the new layer icon, right? And then I'm going to drag this up so that that new layer is on the bottom. And I'm going to fill that with white. So white is my background color, so Control Delete. All right, so there we go. I'm actually going to fill it with black just to see how you do with the layer masks. So Alt Delete. Yep, I see no debris, so you did a great job with the layer masks. All right. So now a little tip here on something. I see that you have a name tag here, which is a great idea. So since you want to make this look like it's part or on the garbage pail, all right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this and let's see, I'm going to go to Edit, Transform. I don't know, let's see, I think Warp would do this. Oh, that's a, okay, so see, this is a smart object, so what you want to do is right click on this and select rasterize layer. Okay, there, see, so that icon. So these are created because you dragged and dropped them in there, and that's why. So now we can go to Edit, Transform, and Warp. All right, so we have this bounding, this grid pattern here. So if I zoom in, now here's how this works. You can bend this now. All right, so what you want to do is click and drag, and these little handles here, you can see that. So I'm just carefully maneuvering them, all right, so that it looks like it's going to bend around the curvature of the garbage pail. All right, so something like that, I guess. All right, so that's up to you. So, all right, so I'm going to hit Enter to apply that. All right, that doesn't really look correct, but it's okay. So now what you want to do is you want to give this some shading. All right, so I'm going to suggest this. You have the layer mask there, so if I disable it, I get that. All right, so what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go to my paintbrush tool, and I'm going to click on the foreground color and select a medium gray. Hit OK. And let's see, how am I going to do this? I think what we need to do is to create a new layer here. All right, so I'm going to select the name tag layer, click on the new layer icon. All right, then I'm going to Control click on the name tag layer mask. That'll put a selection around it. That'll keep any painting we do inside that selection. So with this new layer active, I'm going to go to my paintbrush tool, click on the paintbrush and select 0% hardness and create a very large brush. So by clicking on the right left bracket key, I can increase or decrease my brush size. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a very large brush, so this way I'll get a more of a blend, like a gradation. And I'm going to click and shift click here. All right, so there you go. All right, maybe you're going to hit this edge here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is change that blending mode to multiply. All right, so you get more of a true shadow. And you could also, let me deselect now, Control D. You can also lower the opacity of that a little bit if it's too harsh. All right, so it gives it a little more dimension. All right, so that's what I would suggest for that. All right, the garbage pail looks a little grainy. It doesn't look as crisp as the baseball, for example, and these items. And there's something going on right here. I don't know what this is here. Yeah, this is part of this layer here. So with this active, I would go to my paintbrush with the layer mask active, and right here, this has to be getting rid of. So let me go back to my brush tool with 100% hard. There's a little thing in here, right? So this will show up when you put a background in. So you want to click and drag and just delete that, all right? And even the edges here. See, there's some kind of, I don't know what you did here, but let me see, disable layer mask. Yeah, you really got to be accurate with this. So, oh, I see what you did. Here's what you did. When you masked out this garbage pail, you had a blurry edged brush. All right, so you need 100% hardness. You had a brush that was like, 50% hardness or whatever. So here's what you could do. This is the beauty of layer masks. Here's how you can fix that. Let me go back here. I have 100% hardness now. Decrease my brush size. All right. So with white, we can bring this back. So here's what we're going to do. Yeah, see, you have to do a really good job with this garbage pail. This is not a good job. You have to get in there and do a little better. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click and shift click over here. That'll bring it back. All right. I know this is the garbage pail cover, but here's what you want to do. With the hard edge brush, I can click. Whoops. Let's see, hard edge brush. I have, let's see. I now want to go with black as my foreground color. So if I'm clicking on the layer mask now, on that thumbnail. And my shift key is held down. I'm clicking, and I'm clicking along this edge here. I actually don't like this here. Let me just go back. This edge here can be your edge, the lighter top. So shift click here. All right, and now I'm shift clicking along here. All right. As you can see, shift clicking creates straight lines. You just don't want to go straight across. All right, so now you have like a lip to the pail. All right, so there you go. So that's a big difference there. All right. So again, you have to kind of go in here and get that looking better. Okay, so please do that. That's a brilliant touch with the skateboard here. Let me see what's going on with this. Yeah, okay, so, okay. See the skateboard wheel here? That's missing. So you have to go in there and get it back by painting with white. So here, okay, you could do that to paint it in. Zoom in, and you got to start. You have to do a really good job with masking out the edges here. So, size, you have to experiment with brush sizes and all that, and you kind of learning a new language here. So, shift clicking here. Remembering that you got to bring in a background. So, all right. So there. Now we got the whole wheel. All right. This. It depends on the background what's going to happen there. All right. So I hope that helped. All right, man. Take care.